Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, troops arrive at the southern border. Is relief on the way for Southern California? And which Super Bowl hopefuls have the best fans? Surge in forces in the air and on the ground. The first troops deployed by President Trump arrive after he declared a national emergency at the southern border.
President Trump's pick to run the Pentagon facing a late-night confirmation vote. Former Fox News Weekend host Pete Hegseth narrowly surviving a key test vote after two Republicans joined Democrats in voting against him over questions about his personal conduct and views on women in combat.
Massive fireball, the drone attack overseas on an oil refinery, the explosion sending people running for their lives.
In court, the man charged in the Idaho student murders case faces a judge, as his defense argues DNA evidence in the case should be thrown out, and they try to paint the investigation as flawed from the start.
The new threat in Southern California, concern the burn scars could lead to mudslides as new fires break out, but is relief on the way? Expensive breakfast. How long will these skyrocketing prices last?
We're flying into Friday. Will the Eagles soar or will Commanders take control? As Bills Mafia takes on Chiefs Kingdom. We are live with the die-hard fans with the Super Bowl on the line. And who's the superstar joining Kendrick Lamar on the big stage? Plus,
we're excited to see the Pandas!
Pandemonium for the Superstars Giant debut. And Demi Moore helps us celebrate the weekend.
Live from Times Square, it's Friday. Good morning, America.
Football, pandas, and Oscars.
You know it's a Friday at Good Morning America. Welcome to Friday. This is always one of the most exciting weekends in football. Two huge games to decide who faces off in the Super Bowl.
Fly, Eagles, fly, if I might. This part a little bit. We're live, though, with fans from all four teams, the Buffalo Bills Mafia, Kansas City Chiefs Kingdom, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Commanders. Some of them had to play in the blistering cold and snow, but Ginger is standing by with if we will finally get some relief this weekend.
That is all coming up. We begin with the first wave of U.S. troops arriving at the southern border, part of President Trump's plan to crack down on immigration. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce starts us off. Good morning, Mary.
George, good morning. Well, immigration was central to President Trump's campaign, and this morning his administration is eager to show he is following through, signing a flurry of executive orders sending troops to the border and highlighting ICE raids. Along the southern border this morning, signs of President Trump's long-promised crackdown on immigration as the 1,500 troops sent to the border begin their new mission. The White House now saying military deportation flights have begun. Marines from California's Camp Pendleton now at the border wall with heavy trucks and concertina wire. ABC's Matt Rivers on the scene for their arrival.
So right there, part of the very first steps of the U.S. military being deployed down here, those taking off from Camp Pendleton, making their way down here to the U.S.-Mexico border.
The troops deployed to address what Trump has declared is a national emergency.
What exactly do you want them to be doing right now?
Making sure that the border is safe and secure and that criminals don't come into our country.
The surge in forces comes as the situation on the border has improved steadily since former President Biden announced new asylum restrictions last spring. Encounters between Border Patrol and migrants down 60%. Immigration a top issue in Trump's campaign. The White House now eager to show they're delivering. Across the country in major cities like Boston, New York, and Newark, some communities rattled by ICE raids. The Newark mayor saying he will not stand by idly while people are being unlawfully terrorized. Trump has promised the largest mass deportations in American history. But sources tell ABC News these appear to be routine immigration raids that have been customary for years. Trump has also signed an executive order to end birthright citizenship, even though it's protected by the 14th Amendment.
That's a good one. Birthright. That's a big one.
But yesterday, a federal judge in Washington temporarily halted the order. Judge John Kuhnauer, appointed by President Reagan, calling it blatantly unconstitutional.
Obviously, we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
And Trump's immigration agenda is getting a boost from Congress. They've passed the Laken-Riley Act. That is the bill that will require federal officials to detain migrants accused of violent crimes, named after the 22-year-old Georgia nursing student killed by an undocumented migrant. It is now headed to the president's desk and will be likely the first piece of legislation he signs in his second term, George.
And Mary, the president also says he's going to release any remaining files on the Kennedy and Martin Luther King assassinations.
The president yesterday signing an executive order to declassify and release the records related to these 3 assassinations that gripped the nation. President JFK, his brother, Senator Robert Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. The president saying their families and the American people deserve transparency and truth. The director of national intelligence now has just a few weeks to review these files and release the records, George.
Thanks very much, Rebecca.
All right, George, thank you. We turn now to the latest on President Trump's nominee for defense secretary, Pete Hegseth. Republican senators are nearly all united behind him as he faces a confirmation vote tonight. Our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, is on Capitol Hill with more. Good morning, Rachel.
Rebecca, good morning to you. And Pete Hegseth is expected to be confirmed by the full Senate later tonight. But in the final hours, 2 Republican senators made it clear they will not be supporting his nomination.
This morning, President Donald Trump's embattled nominee for defense secretary inching closer to confirmation.
The motion passes.
Former Fox News host Pete Hegseth set to face his final confirmation vote late tonight after narrowly surviving a key test vote. But 2 Republicans joining every Democrat to vote against him. Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine, both saying Hegseth's limited experience and personal conduct mean they cannot support him. Murkowski writing, his lack of judgment is unbecoming of someone who would lead our armed forces. In particular, the 4-term Republican pointing to his admitted infidelity and allegations of excessive drinking and sexual assault, both of which he denies. Sources now confirming Hegseth paid $50,000 to a woman who accused him of sexual assault in 2017 as part of their settlement agreement. Hegseth denies he assaulted her, saying that it was consensual and that he only agreed to the settlement because he feared the allegations would hurt his career.
Mr. Hegseth has denied it all.
I've known Pete for a long time. He'll do a great job.
Another issue for both female senators, his views on women in combat roles.
I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles.
The Army veteran later walking that back, saying he opposed quotas for women and minorities serving in certain roles, which the Pentagon has made clear do not exist.
Mr. Hegseth, I'm quoting you from the podcast. Women shouldn't be in combat at all.
Senator Collins now writing, I am not convinced that his position on women serving in combat roles has changed. President Trump brushing off the opposition.
No surprises there. It's too bad. It's the way it is. Too bad.
So Hegseth can only afford to lose 3 Republicans. Murkowski and Collins make 2. We are also going to be watching tonight Senator Mitch McConnell. He could be a wild card in all of this. But either way, Republican leadership is very confident he has the votes, George.
And Rachel, perhaps this should go in the no surprises column as well, but a Republican member of Congress has introduced a resolution to amend the Constitution so President Trump can run for a 3rd term.
Yeah, George, this resolution is coming from Congressman Andy Ogles of Tennessee. He's proposing that the United States amend the Constitution to allow presidents who are serving 2 non-consecutive terms to run and be elected for a 3rd term. To be clear, this is a long shot. It would have to pass both chambers of Congress by a 2/3 vote. It would also have to be ratified by 38 states. But it is notable this is coming from a Republican who is deeply loyal to President Trump, George.
No question about it. Okay, Rachel, thanks very much. Lindsay?
All right, thanks, George. Now to the wildfires in Southern California. High winds are fueling the flames with a new threat of mudslides coming this weekend. Our chief national correspondent Matt Gutman is on the scene in the fire zone yet again. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Lindsay. I want you to take a look at this house because this is what officials are concerned might happen with these mudslides. This house actually survived the fires here in the Palisades, but then was split in 2 by a landslide. And what's happened across Southern California is that the fires cooked vegetation and the soil so thoroughly that it's turned into a kind of quicksand. That means the water in the rain that's coming and forecast tomorrow could slide right off of it. That's why they're so concerned about mudslides here. That's why they've had 15,000 sandbags filled here in Southern California. They are installing K-rails in various places to catch some of the mud. They've also ordered a massive cleanup because they're concerned about toxic ash runoff as well. When you have 13,000 plus structures destroyed in Southern California, all the pollutants inside also burn and could get reactivated. And firefighters still have to finish out today. Red flag warnings in effect through the rest of the morning here. And that is after we've seen 10 new fires igniting over the past 24 hours. So not quite out of the woods yet. George.
Endless. Okay, Matt, thanks very much. We're going to turn now to the extreme cold that's gripping so much of the nation, including sub-zero wind chills in Chicago. Alex Perez is there. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, George. It's felt like living in an icebox for much of the country this week. And check it out. Here near the lakefront, it looks like the water is frozen in time. This cold in some areas is creating some major problems. Now, along the Gulf Coast, they are still digging out from that once-in-a-lifetime snowstorm stretching from Texas to Florida that crippled roadways and led to at least 10 deaths. Some areas saw more snow than they've seen in the last 100 years. Parts of Florida, like much of the South, not accustomed to this kind of weather, leading to cars sliding and countless vehicle accidents. Milton, Florida, got almost 10 inches of snow. And this morning, 23 million Americans from Louisiana to the Carolinas remain under freeze warnings and cold weather advisories. But there is some relief in sight. The Arctic air is finally pushing out of the area. Much more moderate temperatures are expected for the eastern half of the country as we head into the weekend. Rebecca?
Hallelujah. Alex, thank you for reporting from that icebox for much of this week. Ginger, meantime, tracking the brutal cold, and it looks like the reprieve is coming. We cannot wait.
Yes, Olaf finally made it to the beach here at Orange Beach, Alabama. But say goodbye, Olaf, because it's over. We're going to see temperatures returning to average by Sunday. But that's such a unique look just from yesterday of that bright blue water of the Gulf and then the snow on the beach still. After a couple of days, right? That cold air is retreating quickly. We're going to build back the temperatures. Average in New Orleans is in the low 60s, and so we'll get there by Sunday. Orlando back into the 60s, nearly 70. In Southern California, a few hours left until 10 a.m. Pacific time. You've got red flag warnings and an elevated fire risk. Some of the gusts this morning have even still been 30 to 50 miles per hour. We got the new drought monitor in. It's not good and expected, right? Extreme drought, not just in Southern California now, but Phoenix, who's on their second longest stretch without measurable rain. If they get 6 more days, they will have beat it. Looks like a chance next week, but still, we've got onshore flow coming for Southern California. It's not going to get all the way inland to Arizona there, but this will help bring the fire danger down, but it's also going to cause the potential for mudslides, landslides, especially if those little showers on Saturday night through Sunday really fall in the wrong places on a burn scar.
So many extremes at all 4 corners of the country. All right, Ginger, thank you. Overseas now to Israel, and the latest on the ceasefire deal with Hamas. 4 more hostages are due to be released tomorrow if all goes according to plan. Our foreign correspondent Tom Sufi-Burridge is on the scene for us in Jerusalem. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Lindsay. Yeah, later today we should get the names of the next 4 female Israeli hostages who are set to be freed by Hamas tomorrow. Now, one of them should be a civilian, the other 3 IDF soldiers. In exchange, Israel is expected to release around 180 Palestinian prisoners, including some serving long sentences for murder. Remember, the initial 6-week ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, which saw 3 hostages freed last weekend, stipulates that another 30 hostages should be freed, including 2 Americans, Keith Siegel and Sagi Dechelchen. Now, under the deal, from this Sunday, Gazans will be able to move back to northern Gaza. Tents have been set up there amid the destruction. Earlier this week, President Trump throwing doubt on whether the ceasefire can be prolonged beyond 6 weeks to return a further 64 hostages, including another American, Edan Alexander. Overnight, Trump saying, quote, "A deal should hold, but if it doesn't, there will be lots of problems." Guys.
Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Will Reeve here at the desk right now. NFL Conference Championships coming up this Sunday. What do you got?
I got a lot, George. We're ready to go. Hard to believe there's only 3 games left in this NFL season, and the 2 coming up this weekend are going to be fantastic. We've got the in-division rivalry between a team nobody thought would be here and a team burdened by expectations, and the rematch between the defending champs and the team that has maybe its best chance to finally beat them.
Two of the NFL's biggest names facing off at quarterback this weekend. The Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes, already a 3-time Super Bowl winner and 2-time MVP.
Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman!
And the Bills' Josh Allen, an MVP finalist this year.
Allen straight ahead, bulldozes in for the touchdown.
Hoping to bring the Bills one step closer to their very first Super Bowl win.
Obviously, Patrick is one of the greatest to ever play the game.
I've played against Josh enough times to know that he's going to come out there and play great football.
Mahomes' favorite target, Travis Kelce, will bring the moves and some star power to cheer him on. Superstar girlfriend Taylor Swift expected to be there for the game. And while there's no bad blood between Swift and actress Haley Steinfeld, the two will be on opposite sides Sunday. Steinfeld will be rooting for her fiancé, Josh Allen, and the Bills. The winner of this game heads to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, where they'll meet the victor of the NFC Championship game. The Eagles looking to soar on the wings, or at least feet, of Saquon Barkley, the top running back in the NFL all year.
There he goes! Barkley gonna ring the bell again!
A question mark is the health of star quarterback Jalen Hurts, who appeared hampered by a knee injury last game.
Just want to take it a day at a time and continue to progress.
When the season began, few expected the Washington Commanders to make it this far. But rookie QB Jaden Daniels has been a revelation, breaking records this season, not to mention the hearts of Detroit Lions fans.
Daniels, four-man rush this time, zips it in, caught!
There should be some star power in the stands in Philly, too. Bradley Cooper's an Eagles diehard. Matthew McConaughey just keeps living with the Commanders.
Yeah, everything's smooth. I'm on the field right now.
We don't yet know who's playing in the Super Bowl, but we've got some new info on the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show from Kendrick Lamar.
You know, this field a lot bigger than what people think, so that's a must.
The NFL unveiling a trailer Thursday revealing Grammy winner SZA as the special guest performer.
And SZA and Kendrick Lamar are also touring together this spring. Now, guys, it's been 33 years since Washington, George. I got a good stat for you here. It's been 33 years since the Commanders made an NFC Championship game. That was January 12th, 1992. Only 13 of the 212 total players on active rosters for these four teams this weekend were even alive on that day.
Of course, they weren't the Commanders then.
No, they were not.
Right. And by the way, do you know where that game was played?
Detroit.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
A little fun fact
yes,
for your Friday.
I was outdoors. I didn't get in the stadium, but we did look.
Okay. But Washington won.
Right? We did. Yeah. And I had a Bills hat.
Coming up on GMA this morning, we are live in all the playoff cities. Ike is with some Washington Commanders super fans who are facing off against my Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, Ike.
Hey, good morning. Can you feel the energy? These Commanders fans here know that they are 2 days away from a game that possibly could send them to the Super Bowl. These fans know it. They want the rest of the NFL crowd to know it. Back to you guys.
Do it right now, Ike. Thank you. And as you're getting ready to head to work this morning, the new scam warning about toll charges.
Plus the new arrivals at the National Zoo. There you see them getting ready to meet the public in their debut.
Hurts has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air to the 30.
What a play. Welcome back to GMA. The Eagles' Saquon Barkley with an incredible catch and hurdle. Look at it again. So many calling it the play of the year. Flying over the defender. All eyes will certainly be on him Sunday. This morning we are live with super fans of the 4 NFL playoff cities. That is coming up, but oh my gosh, I mean, come on.
Says the 4 times in 15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Says the girl from South Jersey.
Following a lot of headlines right now, including the Ukrainian drone attack blamed for the massive explosion and fire at an oil refinery in Russia. The fireball sent people running for their lives. The same refinery came under attack twice in the last year. Also right now, experts say it could take 6 to 9 months to replenish the supply of eggs amid a nationwide bird flu outbreak. Prices have been skyrocketing up to $9 per dozen in parts of California, which has a cage-free law. More than 40 million egg-laying hens have been lost in the last year because of bird flu.
Plus, authorities all over the country are warning people about a growing text scam. People are getting these messages saying they owe toll charges with a link to pay. But officials say you should not click on the link. Just ignore the message because it is fake. Tolling authorities say they never text drivers about possible toll charges. And both finals for the Australian Open are set. The lone American left is Madison Keys. She made it through the finals. Keys will face off against Aryna Sabalenka, and you can watch that tonight on ESPN. And we've got a lot more ahead, including the family of the Menendez brothers making a new plea for their release after their hearing was delayed due to the wildfires. That is coming up.
Right now, the Brian Kohberger case back in the Idaho courtroom as the defense team fights to throw out DNA evidence in the case. Kana Whitworth has the story. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, George, good morning. As you well know, there are still so many questions in this case, and we heard for the first time in years more of what a surviving roommate says she saw and heard the night her friends were murdered. And Kohberger's lawyers are using her account to help paint this investigation as unjustified and mishandled. This morning, stunning revelations in a Boise courtroom as Brian Kohberger's defense team tries to paint the investigation as flawed and shrouded in secrecy in an effort to get key evidence thrown out.
This is a situation where this identification was done in complete secret behind closed doors.
The former PhD student accused of stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death in an off-campus home, while his lead defense attorney, Ann Taylor, reveals details of a surviving roommate's interview with authorities in the aftermath of the gruesome quadruple homicide.
There are 2 references to not remembering. A couple of days later, there's the 3rd interview, and there's references to not remembering, being drunk, a statement, I don't know any of it. Like half this stuff, I don't know if it's a dream or if it's real. And credibility is really, really important when that person is relied on in the investigation.
Taylor added the roommate told police she had been drinking and that she also heard one of the victims come up and down the stairs during the time of the attack.
They know that fact is wrong.
Taylor says that information was never provided to the judge at the time, laying the groundwork for her to question the beginning of the investigation and collection of evidence, including DNA that authorities say was found on the button snap of a knife sheath at the crime scene. Authorities using investigative genetic genealogy to link Kohberger to the crime, a tactic Taylor has long argued is flawed.
Investigative genetic genealogy, or IgG, is the process by which law enforcement will take a sample of DNA and initially probably run it through what's called CODIS, a federal criminal database. But if there's no hit there, then law enforcement can take that DNA to a genetic genealogy database and see if they can take information from that database to see if that sample is related to someone.
Kohberger's DNA was later matched to trash pulled from the Pennsylvania neighborhood where he was with his parents when arrested. Kohberger's lawyers, who say he is innocent, accuse the FBI of not having a warrant to work with the trash collection company.
I think it is different when you have the FBI telling the trash man what to do.
An individual has no expectation of privacy as to what they throw out into the trash. And so law enforcement wouldn't need to get a warrant to check what they call as an abandonment sample.
The prosecution saying no rights were violated and that they relayed the evidence based on what they knew at the time.
And there is nothing obtained that was obtained in violation of any of the defendant's constitutional rights. The defendant has wholly failed to establish a single false statement or omission without which the magistrate would not have found probable cause.
The proceedings private for most of the first day. Cameras turned back on briefly, and the family of Kaylee Gonzalez forced to watch a live stream in the courthouse.
Now, we think we will learn a lot more because those hearings continue today. The Gonzalez family hoping they might be allowed into the courtroom today. And keep in mind, guys, this trial is still slated to start in August, guys.
So many eyes there. All right, Kana, thank you. Football face-off. We are spread out across the country in all 4 NFL playoff cities this morning ahead of the 2 major matchups this weekend. And we're going to start with Morgan Norwood live in Philadelphia with some serious Eagles fans and serious commitment. We noticed the green jeans. Well done, Morgan. Good morning.
Yeah, by serious, they made sure that I had this hat on as well. Here's this crowd. I mean, we are at the legendary Chickies and Pete's. The crab fries are hot. The cheesesteaks are somewhere back there sizzling as well. And these fans, do you see them? Yeah. They are fired up this morning. everyone is super excited for the NFC playoff game against the Washington Commanders. And look, the stakes couldn't be any higher. The Eagles and the Commanders, they played each other at least 180 times in their history. But this is the first time that they're actually going to face off in the playoffs. And with so much on the line, all eyes are on Philly's talented roster. But like Will said earlier, Jalen Hurts is dealing with a knee injury, and the Eagles are down 2 of their key starters. You got Cam Jurgens out with a back injury. Dallas Goedert, his ankle injury stopped him from participating in Thursday's practice. But look, the Eagles still remain the favorites heading into Sunday's matchup, which of course takes place on their home turf. And these fans here are excited for And speaking of fans, I literally have a household divided standing with me here. I mean, this family here, you've got Eagles. Oh, gosh, you got a sad face here. The Commanders. He was brave enough to walk in here decked out in Commanders gear. I mean, how are you guys feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah, he's like pretty good, you know, confident. How are you feeling,
A little confident, yeah, a little nervous. We're looking forward to the game. We try to stay on separate sides of the house. We don't want any accidents or anything like that. But, yeah.
It will be an accident, right?
Right,
a real accident.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Dad, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean, we're not supposed to be here. It's been 33 years. It's been 33 years. We're playing a division rival. This is the first time in 23 years of our marriage that this is even happening. So let's just do this and have fun.
I have to ask you, are there any wagers as we toss it back? Are there any wagers on this? I mean, are there any bets? What happens?
Absolutely. When we win, they're going to have to sing our fight song, post it on social media.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Maybe throw in some dish duty as well.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens. But, you know, the Eagles fans here are really confident. Back to you guys.
When we win, they're going to do it.
We're going to need a cam on their living room on Sunday. But let's go to Ike and Chachi with the Commanders.
Some of the best Commanders fans you'll ever see in the world. Not to mention former player Fred Davis, who's here to pump these fans up.
Hey, how you doing? I'm happy to be here. I just want to say right now, the energy in Augie's right now is electric. Watch this.
Now listen, I gotta tell you guys, this is the first time that we're seeing 2 NFC East teams meet in the conference championship in nearly 40 years, and the rookie phenom, Jaden Daniels, is trying to take the Commanders back to the Super Bowl for the first time in 33 years. Now, we have one of our best political minds and not-so-secret Commanders fan, Mary Bruce, right there on the White House North Lawn. She's a Commanders fan. She joins us now looking great in that burgundy and gold. Mary, listen, we know you're a Commanders fan. How are you feeling about this season coming up? And obviously the game coming up this weekend.
Well, Ike, you know this. I am from here. I grew up in Washington. I can tell you, I still remember well the last time we made it to a Super Bowl. But Ike, I was in the 1st grade. So, you know, it has been a minute. But I have to tell you, I don't want to jinx anything. It has certainly been our year, Ike.
Woo! It is our year, and especially for everyone else in here, too, guys. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Ike. It's a good year for the football hat business, too, and the football fan clothing attire business. Anyway, we love this stuff, you guys. Coming up, we've got even more super fans with Rihanna and Allie in Kansas City and Trevor Alt in Orchard Park, New York, home of the Bills. The Mafia is strong there.
And back now with our play of the day. Not only the Commanders that have people going wild in D.C., it is pandemonium in our nation's capital.
Thank you for changing it from sports, which I know nothing about, Lindsay, to this,
right
which I've got. You know what's cuter or what's better than a cuddly panda? I offer you 2. How's that? Just so you don't have to struggle to get there. It's season. It's panda season. Bao Li and Qi Bao are set to make their public appearance at the Smithsonian's National Zoo in Washington, D.C. Now, they are adorable panda bears. They're everything you want out of a cuddly panda, and they're fresh out of quarantine. They are about to meet their public during the opening ceremonies. Take a look. New video of Bao Li and Qing Bao reveals 2 celebrity pandas ready for their close-ups. This morning, the giant panda pair finally making their long-awaited public debut at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. It's the only zoo in the U.S. that doesn't charge you to see the pandas. This pair has been in quarantine since arriving last fall from China. Bao Li emerging as kind of the more outgoing of the two, Qing Bao taking a more reserved approach to life.
Actually had staff from across the zoo kind of make an appointment to come and visit the pandas to see them, to see how they'd react. And like pandas, they just seem to love the attention. They love the people. They're very curious. They're very interested.
Wiggle your fingers if you are excited to see the pandas.
At one area school, it's already pandemonium.
I like how they're so cute.
These students from Yu Ying Public Charter School are performing a Mandarin language song at the opening ceremony. They'll be the first of thousands planning to visit Bao Li and Qing Bao today. I like that they're so cute, too. All right, some D.C. hotels are even offering panda-themed packages to entice you to come and take advantage of all the excitement. Now, amenities include, like you can get a stuffed toy panda, round-trip transportation to the zoo, maybe from your hotel. There are panda-themed beverages, and stop right there, because I know you want to know what a panda-themed beverage might be, like in a panda cup, or look at that, it looks like bamboo with little pandas on it. I'm not saying what's in the cup. Huh? Yeah. I don't know what's inside.
Good luck getting your 5-year-old to drink it,
but
though.
The outside is panda-rific.
It's a mocktail, apparently.
You can't get to D.C. right now. Don't worry. The giant panda cam has launched. 40 cameras are operating, but 20 is not enough, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. To highlight all that adorableness, all you have to do is go to the National Zoo website for the link. And you can make your own panda-themed beverage.
That's what I'm going to do this weekend. Thank you so much, Sam. Coming up, Bills superfan Lori Bergamotto has the right stuff to tackle all this snow. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Surgeon forces in the air, on the ground. The first troops deployed by President Trump arrive after he declared a national emergency at the southern border.
We want more.
Should have bought the red dress. Red drives me wild.
From Brat Pack star to Oscar-nominated actress.
Take care of yourself.
After Demi Moore's big win at the Golden Globes.
This is the first time I've ever won anything as an actor.
What she's saying about reaching new heights. And Julia Stiles dances her way into Times Square.
Really not a big deal.
We think it is. And she's talking about going behind the camera for the first time. As she says,
Good morning, America.
Live from Times Square, it's Friday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, Julia. Big debut for her, directorial debut. We're going to talk to her about it in just a little bit. And Sam, you know, you're going to say we're going to have a big weekend.
Right, George, because you think I want to talk about Demi Moore or Julia Stiles, but George, let's start with sports, shall we? I think it's really important. I think it's really important, and we're going to have a big weekend. We're about to decide who the final teams are for the Super Bowl, right?
Yes, that's what it's called, the Super Bowl. They play football in it.
Right, it's amazing. Let's get some points, something like that. All right, so we've met some crazy Eagles fans and the Commanders super fans. I'm not sure what's going on with the big helmets, but I love it. And we've got two more to go deep into.
That's right. First of all, crazy Eagles fans, no, they're very sane Eagles fans. Coming up, we're checking in with the Bills Mafia and the Chiefs Kingdom.
Plus, try this one on, Sam. I am very excited to talk to someone else with a huge fan base. New York Times bestselling author Rebecca Yarros is here with the release of Onyx Storm. We are going for the spoilers.
So a lot more coming up. We're going to start with a look at the top stories breaking at 8. The first wave of U.S. troops arriving at the southern border, part of President Trump's plan to crack down on immigration. I want to go back to Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce. Good morning, Mary.
George, good morning. Well, immigration was central to President Trump's campaign, and this morning his administration is eager to show he is following through. Along the southern border, we now see signs of Trump's long-promised crackdown as the 1,500 troops sent to the border begin their new mission. The White House now saying military deportation flights have begun as part of this mission. Marines from Camp Pendleton are now at the border wall with heavy trucks and concertina wire. The troops deployed to address what Trump has declared is a national emergency. The president says the troops are there to make sure sure that the border is safe and secure and that criminals don't come into the country. And his administration has said this operation is just the start. The surge in forces, though, comes as the situation on the border has improved steadily since new asylum restrictions went into place last spring. Encounters between Border Patrol and migrants now down 60%. Rebecca.
All right, Mary, thank you. We turn now to new pleas by relatives of the Menendez brothers as their resentencing hearing has been pushed back 2 months because of the California wildfires. Our Ariel Reshef is here with more. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, Rebecca. A lot of eyes on this, as you know. Some family members and supporters of Eric and Lyle Menendez are renewing their fight to have the brothers released after 35 years in prison. Their cousin giving an impassioned plea at an event in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. She emphasized the brothers' positive contributions and rehabilitation during the 3 decades they've been incarcerated. Speaking on behalf of 25 family members, the cousin said they've completely forgiven the brothers for the 1989 murders of their parents, but not all family members agree. A California judge is expected to decide whether their sentence of life without parole should be reduced. That hearing was set for next week, but was postponed until March due to the wildfires. Dozens of family members met with the DA earlier this month to try to convince him to push for resentencing. He continues to review this case. Lindsay.
All right, Ariel, thank you. Now to those wildfires in Southern California. High winds are fueling the flames with a new threat of mudslides coming this weekend. Let's go back to our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, in the fire zone once again. Good morning again, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Lindsay. Before firefighters begin dealing with mudslides, first they have to deal with the fires. Red flag warnings in effect still until later this morning, and we've seen 10 new fires start over just the past 24 hours. And one of the main concerns here is that homes could look like this. This house survived the Palisades fire, was split in two by a landslide days later. And what's happened across Southern California is that the fires cooked vegetation and soil so thoroughly that it turned it into a kind of quicksand, making it hydrophobic, the water sliding right off. That's why officials here are so concerned about mudslides. That's why they've ordered the filling of 15,000 sandbags, the placement of K-rails, those concrete barriers to catch the mud, and they've ordered the cleanup of a lot of the residents here because they're concerned about toxic ash runoff in some of the 13,000 structures that have been destroyed here and all the pollutants that are still inside of them. Guys.
Definitely something to keep our eye on. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, and any water, even a little water, is just going to come running down those hills and bring everything with it. Why don't we do an update now on our SoCal Strong donations? Now, we were there a week ago. I know you were there watching, meeting some of the resilient, inspiring people impacted by the wildfires. And we got to meet some hero firefighters and their families who battled the flames. Since then, our viewers, you and our corporate partners have come out in full force to help. And this morning, guys, listen to this number. We're excited to announce that Thrive Cosmetics and Bigger Than Beauty Skincare are donating $500,000 to charity supporting those affected in the LA area. Now that brings our latest total of viewer and corporate donations to $9,715,000. It's a big number, but there's so much more to do. Right. While we're there, George, why don't we just get there? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Coming up on our GMA Morning Menu, from Brat Pack star to Oscar nominee, we're talking about Demi Moore's big year.
Also ahead, Good Housekeeping's nutrition and fitness director is here with the top nutrition trends of 2025.
Plus, it's a football takeover at GMA. Even Sam's into it. Look at the NFL fans running the show in our control room. We're live with some of the other super fans cheering on the Bills and Chiefs.
Is that a Patriot in there?
Yeah, there's a Patriot in there as well. And best-selling author Rebecca Yarros tells us about her new book. So fans are very excited about this, and we are too. Lori Bergamotto, you're here with just what we need right now, the right stuff in snow solutions, because we haven't even gotten to February yet. That's coming up right here on GMA.
And with our GMA cover story, Demi Moore's evolution from 90s pop culture icon to first-time Oscar nominee after more than 4 decades in acting. Eva Pilgrim is here with the latest chapter in Moore's career. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, George. It's crazy to think with all her success, Demi Moore hadn't won a single award for her acting until this role. And now she's using this moment to inspire others to believe in themselves.
This morning, Demi Moore proving it's never too late to reach new heights, getting her first Academy Award nomination ever.
I'm fine.
The 62-year-old on cloud nine, nominated for Best Actress for playing a struggling actress, fired for being too old in the horror film The Substance. The Oscar nom coming just 2 weeks after her win at the Golden Globes, her first ever acting award.
I've been doing this a long time, like over 45 years, and this is the first time I've ever won anything as an actor.
Why don't we have a seat and relax? I promise this will be very painless.
While she has been lighting up our screens for over 4 decades, stealing scenes in General Hospital and St. Elmo's Fire.
How come you never made a pass at me?
Not to mention those unforgettable moments in Ghost. She continuously brought in huge box office bucks, but never won those coveted awards until that Golden Globe win earlier this month.
30 years ago, I had a producer tell me that I was a popcorn actress, and at that time, I made that mean that this wasn't something that I was allowed to have, that I could do movies that were successful, that made a lot of money, but that I couldn't be acknowledged.
She was even openly criticized after becoming the highest paid actress in Hollywood, opening up to our Diane Sawyer about the backlash.
They called you Gimme More?
There were some things like that. Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't all women be paid equal to the quality of the work they're doing?
Now she hopes all women can take the lessons she has learned firsthand to heart.
I think this movie is imparting is in those moments when we don't think we're smart enough or pretty enough or skinny enough or successful enough or basically just not enough. I had a woman say to me, just know you will never be enough, but you can know the value of your worth if you just put down the measuring stick.
And this movie, The Substance, is one that a lot of people are going to be watching to see how it does. It's a horror film, which is pretty unusual for the Oscars. And the director, Coralie Farja, is the only female director nominated this year. But guys, I don't know who's not cheering for Demi.
What a powerful speech she gave right there. Okay, but thanks very much. Friday? I mean, Sam's in for pop news, but no props.
No, well, I mean, George, don't say no props, just no visible props at this moment. I love this moment for Demi Moore, though. Hey, so it's award season, so let's begin pop news with strong awards, one of our own. Mr. George Stephanopoulos. George, who's giving us something to talk about this award season. George, you're a finalist in the 30th Annual Audie Awards. George got a nomination in the nonfiction category, you know, for his book, 2024 book, The Situation Room. The Audie Awards recognizes distinction in audiobooks and the spoken word entertainment. And the president of the Audio Publishers Association, Sean McManus, says this year's finalists represent the very best in storytelling, George. And George, we have some footage of you on the day that you were recording your audiobook. So I thought George wore a suit to do everyday things. Like I could see him in the supermarket, I don't know, like trimming the hedges or something. But look at this, you make this work. I like this. I like cool hip George.
It's casual George.
Yeah, it's not quite Demi Moore's Golden Globes acceptance speech.
But it is a vibe, nonetheless. I like it.
I think you should do like a casual clothing line. I think it works out really well. I know, I digress. Here we go. Winners will be announced at the 2025 Audie Awards Gala, which takes place, if you want to go, March 4th, right here in New York City. Serious congratulations.
Yes, congrats, George.
Thank you. Well, and I also love hearing your voice. Sometimes I just play it when I miss you, just to hear your voice in the morning.
Let's not get creepy, Sam.
As award season is hitting up, football season is getting closer to a dramatic finish. And when I say dramatic finish,
there's a problem.
We do have a dramatic finish. All right, here we go. Our GMA superfans are all out in the field in the playoff cities.
I think you got to turn it a little bit.
Do I have to? Oh, is it not right?
Yeah.
Look, I don't know how to wear these things, and everybody's telling me what to do. The two.
There we go.
Right there. Is that right? Is that it?
Yeah.
Earlier this morning, we checked in with Morgan in Philly and Ike outside of D.C. Now let's head to Trevor Ault in Orchard Park. Trevor, I apologize. Home of the Buffalo Bills. It's about 18 degrees there, right? So I'm so sorry, Trevor.
Sam, I assume you're talking to us. There is so much noise here. Now they've quieted down for the live shot. You don't have to coach Bills Mafia on how to make some noise. I've learned this morning. Hey, 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 let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. ready to go. They came ready to go all morning, which is how Bills Mafia always does it. This is a group of fans that has never given up on this team. And, you know, some people thought heading into the season that the Buffalo Bills, maybe their window had closed for the Super Bowl. They never gave up faith, and the team just keeps winning and winning. They are led, of course, by their quarterback, Josh Allen, an MVP candidate. Do we think he might be the MVP? That's right. And they've got this major matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that they have a lot of history with. And, of course, one of the most important people for protecting that quarterback, Josh Allen, is his tackle, Deion Dawkins. We have Mama Dawkins here with us. His mother, Mama Dawkins. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How you feeling headed into this weekend? You ready to go?
I am feeling good, and we all believe in our team, and we are going to be done with these Chiefs after this.
That's right. I was going to ask. Now, what's it mean to you as a mom and a fan to have all the support from everybody?
This is the greatest thing in the world. It's unbelievable, and I love all of you.
What do we think? Do we think this is the year? Is this fun? I think we've got a lot of different interesting things in Buffalo. We've had some chicken wings for breakfast. We've got Sasquatch here, too. We do have a formal presentation. What do we have here, Nicole?
These are our lucky chicken wing
Our
necklaces.
lucky
You gotta buy it for good luck.
Oh, okay, great.
And you're now an official member of the Bills Mafia.
Love to make some noise. And as an honorary member of Bills Mafia, I can tell you, fans across the country, even if you don't want Buffalo to win, everybody wants Kansas City to lose.
I'm not sure that it's everybody, Trevor, but there is something special going on with that Bills group. And how do you beat a lucky chicken wing necklace?
You never take it off. That's the most important part.
Listen, I hope not, Lindsay. I hope not. Rhiannon, are you there? Because I know you're in your hometown, Kansas City, right now, and it's actually colder than it is in Buffalo. So, again, I apologize. Hey, Rhiannon, what's going on? Is everybody psyched?
Hey, Sam, did I just hear Trevor say everyone wants the Chiefs to lose across the country? No, thank you. Not here in Kansas City. You know what? There is no place like home, especially when your hometown team is going to its 7th consecutive AFC championship. At the Peanut. This is a Kansas City institution, and the crowd really came out. We have Mike Garrett here. Mike was instrumental in the Chiefs winning their very first Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl IV. He ran in a touchdown that really won the game for the team. How are you feeling about Sunday?
I feel very good. Like our chances.
Yes, we do too. And he brought some friends with him as well, other former Chiefs players. We're so excited to have them here. And we are looking ahead to Sunday's big matchup. This game is going to be huge, and it's right here in Kansas City. They will take on, of course, the Buffalo Bills. Now, if they win and make it to the Super Bowl and then win the Super Bowl, they will make history. They will be the first NFL team to ever win 3 consecutive Super Bowl championships. So that might be why Trevor said everyone wants them to lose. But you know who wants them to win? We have the Red Slipper Society ladies here. We've had them on GMA before last year.
Yes.
And we sent you to the AFC Championship game.
Yes.
And we won, of course. Do you think that was a coincidence?
No. We are lucky, and we're going to win, and we're going to be clicking our slippers together for a big going all the way
We're
to the
so
Super Bowl.
Excited. Thank you so much,
Thank
Teresa,
you.
and good luck to the Red Slipper Society ladies this
Thank
weekend
you.
as well.
Go Chiefs.
So I have one last message. You know what? I'll take any chance to wear my Mahomes jersey on TV, but I have one last message from this crowd. How about those Chiefs? Sam?
Very good. Very well done. Well done. All
Sam, I
right.
spoke too soon about no props. I apologize.
George, I had it hidden beside the chair.
Thank you.
All right, it's time now for the right stuff. Nearly 40% of the country was covered in snow this week, and we haven't even gotten to February yet, guys, so there's going to be a lot of time to use all the stuff that GMA Livestock contributor Lori Bergamato has. Solutions to keep you, what are you laughing at? You are billed out too.
Wait, can we just welcome Sam to Bills Mafia officially? I mean, it's a look, Sam, and it works, but yes. So at Buffalo, it snows a lot, so we've got some snow solutions for them and for the whole country, as you mentioned. We're going to kick things off with a shovel. You can't talk about solving for the snow without a great shovel. This one is from Snow Joe. It is our top pick. It is also the #1 in its category on Amazon, which you know those people are very serious about their products. Now, what we loved about this is called the Ergy, and it is a dual-sided strain-reducing shovel. So go ahead and demo it for us there, Sam, with our heavy snow there.
You're right, because this puts more pressure.
Exactly.
And this kind of reduces the pressure.
Exactly. It's the Ergy. It's ergonomic.
I get it.
So, 30% of snow shoveling injuries are back injuries. They're lower back injuries. This is going to help prevent that. And it does a really great job on the snow, and it's really great at making sure you don't get injured. So we love that from Snow Joe.
The Ergy.
Yes, the Ergy. Now we're going to move on. If you already have invested in a shovel that you love and you want to use, but
in Buffalo you likely have.
Exactly.
But probably you didn't in Louisiana until last week.
Right. So this is the sort of tool that's going to let you use the shovel that you have.
Right.
And then just pop it on. It's an offset handle. It's from Backy's. It's under $10. Sam, it's
so this is that for that again. Okay, got it.
So you can see we've sort of done a similar thing here with this shovel.
You just get it on there.
You get it on, and it's universal, so it will fit on any stick tool that you have. And then also, if you want to use it all year long, if you have back issues, you can use it in the spring when you're gardening, or in the fall, when you're raking.
This is I was
really
looking at it going, how does that work? But it works really well.
And that's how it works. So we want to make sure we're taking care of ourselves.
Remember all the blisters you would get? You're not going to get the blisters with that.
And it prevents from blisters and also hand fatigue. Because sometimes you're doing it for a really long time and then you're like, oh.
I'm tired right now.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about snow, but we can't forget about ice.
Okay.
We're in that stage right here in New York where it's melted a little bit, then it got cold again, right? And now there's ice. So you want something like this. This is the Ames Forged Scraper.
Yeah.
This thing is great for cracking through all those layers of ice. And what it's going to do is it's going to get you able to get through that ice and not slip and fall. And if you
because you can just walk down and break it up and then scoop it out of the way.
Exactly. And if you have a lot of ice and you're trying to shovel, you're going to have a hard time. So you have to break that ice up. This we found at Home Depot, and this is also a great gardening tool as well to cut through some of those.
With this.
Exactly.
I'm already on it. I'm stealing that.
We always try to think about the whole year, right? Okay, but
this is genius because I see people walking their pets on the salted sidewalks.
Don't you feel so bad?
And I do because it's like, don't do. Oh, I just caught what that looks like. I apologize, America. But don't do it. Your pet's feet are going to get injured.
Exactly. So we are big fans of snow melt, but we want one that is salt-free because we want to take care of our furry little friends.
Sure we do.
So this one we found uses an organic accelerator. It's great. We found this at Home Depot, and it's going to be safe for your pets to walk on the walkways. It's also gentler on concrete and vegetation. So if you don't have a pet, but that's something that you're concerned about, this is what you need. And since we're talking about preparing...
Effective to 15 below. It'll work.
Yeah, there you go. Since we're talking about preparing for the snowstorms, this is a great thing you can put on your car the night before. If you're trying to get those kids to school the next day, you're seeing how it works there. It just comes right off and you're ready to go, Sam.
All right, put it down before the snow, pull it off in the morning. Thank you, Lori. Coming up, we've got, I guess, the best top nutrition trends of 2025. Maybe I could take a few pounds off of this idea. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
And we have been counting down to the Super Bowl all morning long, and we have something special coming up on Monday. We're going to meet the stars of the new Budweiser commercial for the big game. Of course, that's the Clydesdales. We also have an exclusive first look at the ad. That's coming up on Monday. Hey, Rebecca.
We are looking forward to that, George. And now we turn to the top food trends of 2025. Stephanie Sassos, the nutrition and fitness director at Good Housekeeping, is here to break it down. Yay. I'm just clearing my throat. Stephanie is looking like a delicious year, and you've got all of the options here for us to make it even more yummy, starting with sourdough, which is really interesting. There's a new take on all of this.
Absolutely. So sourdough bread obviously went mainstream during the pandemic, right? It's higher in protein, lower in sugar than other breads. It's fewer ingredients. It has lactic acid, so it helps your body absorb more nutrients. But now,
did not know that.
Yes, we're seeing it make its way beyond bread. So we have these amazing crackers from Patagonia Provisions. So you know Patagonia, the jackets?
Yes.
Right? So they have a food line, and it's incredible quality, regenerative, organic. It's so good. So these are sourdough crackers. Then we have Jesha's making this amazing sourdough baking mix, which you can make with the kids.
I see this going over very well in our house.
Yes, absolutely. And sourdough pasta from Bio Nature.
Really?
Yep. So you don't have to have a sandwich, right, to enjoy sourdough. Now you have different uses for it.
Okay, protein obviously really important on the list of things we should be eating. Yes. And now the dairy dairy aisles getting a bit of a makeover.
Yeah, so dairy protein kind of went viral this year, right?
Yes.
Cottage cheese, we saw in everything from ice cream to wraps. What's funny is it's been around for thousands of years, right? But it's getting reinvented. And cousin to cottage cheese is farmer's cheese from Lifeway.
Right.
And this is going to be like your firmer, tangier version. It's spreadable like a cream cheese, and it's a little bit lower in sodium, so it's great for people on like a heart-healthy diet. And then we also have labna from Yaza. So
I love labna.
Oh, it's so good. It's like a strained yogurt, and they really do some nice spices in there, like za'atar, to make it an amazing dip. So pita, it's a vehicle to eat more vegetables. So delicious, and gut healthy too.
Yeah, we like that. Okay, here's some new snacks, which I'm going to take a little bite of as we turn things around. What are we doing here?
So think about when you peel an
Yum.
apple, right? Or when you cut broccoli and throw out the stems. It kills me as a dietitian.
Yes.
These are the most nutritious parts of the produce.
And the waste. I hate the waste.
Yes, and the waste. So we have a couple brands that are upcycling. So they're taking these ingredients and they're repurposing them into something amazing, right? So 7 Sundays, this is going to be your new go-to cereal with the kids, okay?
7 Sundays.
Yes, so they make this oat protein cereal. So think about all the oat milk production happening in the U.S., right? They take the oat pulp that's a byproduct, and it usually gets thrown away. They repurpose it into this amazing protein.
That is so awesome and smart. So upcycled things that actually are really yummy and good for you. What are we doing over here?
Yes, so gone are the boring days of water, right? We're seeing some new innovative waters.
This is how you'll actually drink more water.
Yes, so prickly cactus water. It's like the new coconut water.
Prickly cactus water.
So it's got electrolytes in it, vitamin C. We're also seeing some really innovative, unexpected flavors on seltzer from Orabora, like lavender cucumber. And then Sanzo is doing these amazing Asian flavors and fruits, and they're sparkling waters and no sugar, alcohols, nothing like that.
And obviously you can mix it with other things if that's what you want.
Exactly.
Okay, I see these in the grocery store and I always wonder, it's the fancy fruits, the more expensive fruits. Are they actually worth it?
So they're definitely going to be specially grown. They might be imported from, brands like Frida's. So we have the Shine Muscat grapes. It's like the flawless grape you've seen on TikTok, right? We have the Oishi berries. They're going to have this amazing, vibrant, aromatic smell and flavor.
They're so perfect.
And they're
They
awesome.
look so
They're a
perfect.
splurge. But you can also go for something more affordable like the Cosmic Crisp. That's a little luxe and like a perfect apple, but more similar to what you would pay for a traditional apple. And it's absolutely perfect in terms of the sweet tart flavors.
So it's sweet and tart.
Yes.
And crisp.
And crisp.
Which is really key for me when it comes to an apple.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Stephanie Sassos, as always, for helping keep us healthy and giving us some great new ideas for foods. And for more nutrition tips and trends, you can check out Good Housekeeping's website. And to shop all the products here, you can just scan that QR code or go to goodmorningamerica.com.
I think you're wrong.
Explain.
I think your artwork, our memories, the memories people have of us, they make us immortal. When you love someone.
And that is a look at the new movie, Wish You Were Here, the directorial debut of Julia Stiles, known for her work in front of the camera. And now she's behind the camera. Welcome. It's great to see you.
Thank you so much.
I loved watching you watch your work up there.
Oh, it makes me so happy I made that. I made that with a lot of other people, but I made it.
Tell us about the story.
It's a love story. I like to say it's two versions of a love story. It's the one that they have in real life, and then it's the one that they dream about. There's some moments of levity with the family and friends kind of pressuring this girl to get on a dating app and meet her guy and get her life together. But she meets another guy spontaneously one night, and they have this amazing time together.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, exactly. The old-fashioned way. And they play this sort of game where he says, "Tell me how we met," and she makes up this story about their relationship as though they're an older couple looking back on a lifetime together. And then things get weird the next morning, and she doesn't hear from him. She's kind of ghosted for a while, and wondering what happened. And she finds out he's in the hospital, and it's not looking good. So it's very much about like our time here is precious, and we should be so lucky to find that person that you can create a lifetime of memories with.
Truly. Well, I think about my memories of you growing. I feel like I grew up with you. 10 Things I Hate About You, Save the Last Dance. I loved your acting throughout my childhood. Now this directorial debut, how does it feel? How different does it feel to direct versus acting?
It's wonderful. I'm totally hooked. I absolutely loved every minute of it. It's so much work, but it's so energizing. I've been working on this movie for 5 years. One of the actresses in the movie who plays the best friend, Helen, she sent me the book 5 years ago saying, I heard that you're interested in directing. What about Wish You Were Here by Renee Carlino? And I fell in love with the book. I laughed, I cried, I laughed through my tears. And I could so visualize it as a movie that it was the thing that's made me go, okay, now's the time. And it's only gotten deeper and more meaningful for me in the 5 years since we went into production.
Oh, wow.
And finally the movie is out. It feels really necessary right now. I wanted to put something out into the world that's very positive and hopeful and about love.
Good for you.
And I just loved it. I loved it.
And we know that you're a mom of 3, and you've said before that parenting was a training camp for directing. How so?
Great quote.
I realized that like everything that you have to learn being a mom came in handy on set. You're managing chaos. You have to operate really well with very little sleep. Multitask, think 10 steps ahead, but also be present, manage a budget, manage people's emotions, all the things. I got on set and
Good analogy.
Yeah.
Distract with snacks.
Yes, hangry, make sure nobody's hangry. Yeah.
So I actually agree with Rebecca. I love you on camera. I think you just light up the cameras, and I remember the 2000s really well. Speaking of that, we love a good anniversary. Save the Last Dance, almost 24 years ago, believe it or not.
Wow.
Do you, high school movie, excitement times, look at that girl, look at that young girl. What are your memories of that?
Oh, I remember it was very cold in Chicago in the winter. I remember I was so into the dance training. I loved it. I was also really, really tough on myself. And Kerry Washington, oh my God, that was the beginning. And she was such a like big sister to me. She was so sweet and took care of everybody. But it was great. And I was just really focused on the dance part of it and wanted to get that right.
We have a special message for you from that movie.
Hey Julia, Sean here. Do you remember when we were rehearsing for Save the Last Dance, and we rehearsed for weeks and weeks and weeks? Got our stuff down, we were confident, we were feeling good, we were ready, and we were like, okay, we're ready to shoot. And then the day comes for us to shoot the scene, and they changed some of the choreography. Do you remember that? I was terrified. I was freaked out. And you were cool. And you got the job done. And whatever curveball they threw at us, you were able to handle it. And that's how I know you're an excellent director, because that's what directors do. They take curveballs and they handle it. So congratulations, Julia. I'm not surprised at all at what you're doing. Keep it going.
Oh, what a nice message. I felt like I was going to talk back to him like we're on FaceTime, but we're not on FaceTime. That's so sweet of him. I mean, if he watches this, thank you, Sean. I don't remember being cool as a cucumber, but I do remember them changing the choreography at the last minute. It was a lot. It was a lot of work, but he's such a gem.
Clearly, he loves you. I guess everybody does. I love watching you. I can stare at her for hours.
We all get to watch Wish You Were Here. It is in theaters now. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
We're very excited for this. Welcome back. Joining us now is New York Times bestselling author Rebecca Yarros, celebrating the release of Onyx Storm. It's the 3rd book in her hugely popular fantasy series. Rebecca, welcome.
Thank you.
As soon as I knew I was interviewing you, I was excited, not only a fellow Rebecca, but just all the anticipation for this book, all the excitement around it. For those who aren't familiar, give us a taste of what to expect here.
Sure. It's a war college for dragon riders, if you haven't caught up on Fourth Wing or Iron Flame. And it's got romance, it has intrigue, it has politics, and tons of dragons.
A lot of dragons, a lot of work on those dragons. Yeah. I got a question actually from somebody online ahead of this who said, is it okay if I go straight to Onyx Storm, or do I really need to get the others?
No, you really want to get the others first. Okay. Otherwise, we're dropping you right in the middle of a story, and it's going to take you a minute to catch up.
Okay, your book has taken the world by storm. The hashtag of your name on TikTok, are you aware of this? More than 2 billion?
They just told me backstage. Like,
2 billion views.
Yeah, that's
Wow. How does it feel to finally see this in readers' hands?
It's amazing to see it out. It's really surreal, kind of like it's happening to somebody else, but it's also, I see somebody reading it and I think, oh, you've been in my brain? Like we have this collective experience. We've been to this place together, so it's a really great feeling.
So a lot of fans are already going wild with their theories online, and I got to ask you a couple and get your thoughts, okay? So first of all, the first fan theory is that the two main characters will go back to being enemies, Violet and Xaden.
Well, I mean, I think you should read Onyx Storm, see where we leave off, kind of go from there. But you never know. You've got to arc and romance across 5 books.
Arc and romance. Well, that's another point. I'm going to ask another fan question here, but you've got 5 books.
Yeah.
And you're not there yet.
No.
We're not there yet.
No.
We're on this wild ride with you. How far along are you with the rest of the series?
So they're plotted, but I haven't started. I'm taking a little bit of a break to kind of rest and recuperate. I've been on deadlines for 2.5 years, and I just want to make sure my body and my mind are healthy before I start writing the next books. But don't worry, they're coming. They're all plotted.
They're all plotted. So you kind of know where this is heading.
Yeah, I had to. Absolutely. We knew we were going to have the television show when we were in edits for Fourth Wing, which was absolutely surreal. So I turned in a synopsis back then.
Okay, well, now that we know that they're all plotted, I'm going to ask you another question.
Yeah.
Violet.
Okay.
Does she have a third love interest? A third love interest?
I'm not really a fan of love triangles. I'm just not.
You want the purity of the real thing?
I do. Doesn't mean I'm not going to make them work for it, though.
Okay. You're also going to be writing chapters in Xaden's point of view. Yes?
I usually write 1 chapter in Xaden's point of view per book.
1 per book?
1 per book, and then
So that's
sometimes
all
bonus chapters. I never say never.
One person wrote online that they think things are going to get, quote, real bad before they get better.
Well, I mean, probably.
Oh. You want to shed any light on how bad things might get?
Well, I think in any story, you have to really dig characters down to where they're at their lowest before they can build back up and fight again. So we really got to drag them down to the depths so they can arm up and fight.
I love at the start of the book, it's addressed to all of the people, that idea of people getting dragged down. How much of that is what you're writing from your own personal experience?
Oh, definitely. I was the kid that was caught reading under desks in school, and made fun of for being smart and things like that. And I think that especially with the chronic illness representation, it's so important for people to feel seen. And that's what that dedication was for. It was just people like me, so that
helping
everyone
people
can feel seen.
Yeah. Well, you see it obviously in the numbers, 2 billion people talking about all of this and interested in what you're doing. I think the biggest question I've now seen is, will Rebecca Yarros leave us on a cliffhanger in the next book?
Oh, that's a definite.
Oh, we get a cliffhanger?
Definite.
How fun is it to write a cliffhanger?
I love it.
How many times?
I picture them.
You picture
them, but I already know what it is before I start the book, and I drive toward that moment with glee.
Iron Flame had a cliffhanger.
It did.
And you loved that.
I did.
For Onyx Storm, you say the hardest part of the writing process was the ending.
Yeah, it really was. I think making sure you're tying up all the points and you're leading into book 4 and making sure you've laid everything out there. And I did something a little different, not to give any spoilers away, with the ending of Onyx Storm that I fought really hard for and I'm proud of.
You fought for it?
I did.
When you say fought for it, what does that look like?
When you fight for it, anytime you have discussions with your editors about what things should look like, how series should go, and as a writer, you want to, of course, listen to other people's advice. I'm never the only expert in my field. So it was definitely some discussions, but I won. We got the ending.
You won.
I won. We have the ending.
So when you read that cliffhanger, you know.
I know.
It's all Rebecca.
Yeah, you can blame me. 100% blame me.
We love it. I highly doubt there will be any blame. There will be lots of praise going forward. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're so excited to have you back to talk about the next 2 as well and everything you're doing. Onyx Storm is on bookshelves everywhere, or you can use that QR code on the bottom of your screen to get your copy now. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
How about our own Eagles super fan?
Yeah.
Right there, Brad.
Fly, Eagles, fly. And a special thanks to all of our teams out in the field with the super fans from everywhere across the country.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.